So we are meeting tonight with Allison Wells, the new lower elementary teacher, and that's her over there. So welcome, Allison, and also welcome to all of the families that can join us tonight, and welcome to the families who are joining us after the fact, watching this recorded. I said just a second ago, but I should say again for the recording, that we will have another chance to meet with Allison over April vacation when she's going to visit the campus in person. So if you have any questions that aren't answered tonight or that come up later, then you are welcome to ask them again, either through email or in person over April vacation. So I'm going to let Allison tell us a little bit about herself and a little, oh, I'm just admitting somebody else. I'll let Allison tell us a little bit about herself and a little bit about her journey to Montessori and her family. And then if anybody has any questions, then we'll have a time for questions after that. Okay, hi, May.
Hi, sorry I'm a bit late. We were just finishing up dinner.
Yeah, that's fine. That's great. And I'm recording this too. You didn't hear me say that, so I just want to let everybody know up front I'm recording it. Okay, so I will pass the, I guess, virtual talking stick over to Miss Wells.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. I'm super excited to be here and to be able to do this over Zoom with you, and I'm even more excited to meet people in person in April. I think it's awesome that we'll have an opportunity to do that. So my name's Allison, or Allie. A lot of people call me Allie. I'm married to Michael, and I have two awesome kids, two girls, one who is going into 6th grade and one who's going into 3rd grade. So my daughter will be in the lower L class with me next year, which is going to be an experience, but I'm looking forward to it, I think. So I just wanted to give you guys kind of a brief history of me real quick, so you know where I'm coming from, and then I really want to hear if you have any questions and anything else you'd like to get to know about me tonight. So most important thing to know about me is I've been teaching for nearly 20 years. So I have been in education since 2002, which makes me feel both really old and also really confident that I can do this and I can take on new challenges and kind of roll with the punches at this point in my career. I think 20 years is long enough to know that this is my passion. This is what I was meant to do. And it's also long enough to know that teaching is unpredictable and that if I stop learning, I'm just not going to survive it. So being a lifelong learner is important to me, which is why after 15 years of teaching, I decided to take a risk and train to become a Montessori teacher. Never too old to try something new, and it turns out this is where I've been meant to be for the last 20 years. So very happy to have found this space and my people in it. My career started straight out of college. I joined Teach for America. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the program. It's an AmeriCorps program. They take new college grads and send them to areas of the country that have a high need for teachers. And they train you and stick you in the classroom, and you kind of trial by fire. I loved it, every second of it. I was in rural Louisiana teaching math, and I think my biggest takeaway from that time with Teach for America was that every child mattered, and data was important. Data was useful in the classroom. But back then, for me, data was numbers. Teach for America was all about the test scores and the numbers, and so I had this period of my life where I was driven by the test scores, and thankfully I've recovered from that. I left Teach for America, I got my master's, and I actually started working in research and education, and my focus was on early childhood literacy. And that was one of the happiest times of my career because I spent my days sitting in kindergarten and early childhood classrooms just watching children and watching them become readers and like their reading habits develop and their literacy skills develop, and just seeing that magic take place in that age group. My research became notes and observations, and I had to make connections between them and give that feedback back to teachers. And I watched it become useful to them to make program changes or to approach one child's instruction differently because of this feedback. And so I saw the power of that observation and that kind of data, not the numbers so much, but just the really watching children and seeing what they were capable of. Of course, if you've been bit by the teacher bug, you know that you can't leave teaching for very long. It's like short spurts that you're able to leave the classroom and then it pulls you back. So I wound up teaching again, and I was at a very high performing charter school in Boston. So a little bit back into that kind of testing mentality, except that I taught 5th grade, which was when our students came to us out of the public schools. And I decided very, very early on that I would be shortchanging my children to try to just catch them up quickly and get them to pass the test. I wanted my kids to uncover these deep, this deep conceptual understanding for themselves. And so I created a curriculum and a pacing guide that would allow them to achieve that on their own. I wanted to provide them with the tools and the guidance to do it, but I really wanted to be able to step back and watch them find mastery independently. And the result of that was that my students' test scores on the MCAS were not as high as other 5th grade classes in the state. But Massachusetts has another score that's called the growth score, and it looks at how students have improved from one year to the next. And I'm proud to say that my children in all 3 years I taught there were either number 1 or number 2 in the state on growth. So this sort of different approach that I took, where I stepped back and really waited for them to come to that understanding on their own, wound up being very effective for them. And I felt like it was in their best interest to do that and to let them see what they were capable of. Eventually I had babies. I had my oldest at that time, and high performing charter schools in the city aren't necessarily the place to be when you have a newborn. So I left and I went into instructional leadership, which is kind of where I've been for the last 10 to 12 years. Instructional leadership for me looked like coaching teachers to do things similar to what I had done in the charter school, to learn how to step back, to be a guide and not the sage on the stage. So not needing to share all the information with kids, but really just provide them with the right environment to learn it on their own. And that's been incredible. And it was a wonderful experience coaching teachers. And I eventually got back into working with students again, and I was an interventionist. So I was working with elementary kiddos who, for whatever reason, were just not meeting the benchmarks in the public school I worked at. And I would say this period was when I really found what I was most passionate about. And it's what led me to Montessori. So while I was an interventionist, I worked with the reading specialists in my room, and we created an environment in there that was really geared towards supporting kids' social emotional needs. They were there for reading and math, but we really saw it as these are kids who are struggling, and therefore there are other things that they need from us, not just here's how to pass the next test. So I worked with my kids directly on growth mindset, on executive functioning skills, on learning how to regulate themselves, their actions, and to manage big emotions. So it really felt like a much more kind of holistic approach than just the math or just the reading. It was in that position that my oldest daughter was getting ready to go into 4th grade, and I had to make a decision because our school did not have a 4th grade. She's been at Montessori since she was 2. Both of my kids have been at Montessori since they were toddlers. And when she was getting ready for 4th grade, I had to decide if I wanted to sort of bring her into my environment, into the public school, or I was offered the opportunity to train and become the upper L teacher at my daughter's Montessori school. And when I really thought about it and I saw how she was thriving, and I knew even without having gone through the training, I could see what the differences were in the approaches. I knew I wanted to keep her there. And to do that, I took the risk of training and realizing that this was good. This was important to me, and that it was kind of all serendipitous at that point. So that brought me to Montessori. That's the very long, short story of how I got to Montessori. As the upper L teacher, I haven't actually been a full upper L teacher yet. I was in a 6 to 12 classroom, so I was really more of a full elementary co-teacher. This year I'm teaching 3rd through 5th grade, so I have kind of the senior lower L's and the junior upper L's, and I've been straddling the lower L and the upper L for a while. I'm training in both, or I have trained in both, and having the opportunity to work with lower L's has proven to me that that is where I'm most excited to be. Those 6 to 9-year-olds are so full of curiosity and questions, and they're awesome. I love them. I love 9 to 12-year-olds too. I have one of my own, and they're great, and sarcasm and all the things are fun with them. But like the lowers are all the things you get to do with them. I'm so excited. I'm just going to go back to what I said at the beginning. I'm so excited for this opportunity, and I've heard such great things about the school, and I've really enjoyed getting to know everybody there, including Shaunalee, and I'm so happy that she's staying, that she's going to be there as a resource, and I know she'll be in the classroom because having tried to leave teaching and come back, I know she's going to need those times in the classroom with the kids. So I'm just looking forward to it and looking forward to getting to know all of you. So that's my backstory. Any questions?
So while you guys think of your questions, I just want to mention too that I'm going to try to watch the comment section. So if anybody wants to type anything into the chat, I will keep track of that for Allison and voice it for you if you would rather not speak on camera, which is fine.
I covered everything.
I don't really have a question, but I just wanted to say hi. We've emailed a few times. I have 2 daughters at DMS. One is a 1st grader in lower elementary, and the other is a 4-year-old in the Puffin's Nest. And I am also the school administrator, so I apologize in advance for all those long emails about forms. But
By the way,
wanted to finally put a name to a face and also meet my daughter's new teacher. Welcome.
thank you very much.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, hi. I was gonna say, my name is Jody. I have 2 kids also at DMS, Ruby and Luca. They're both in the Puffin's Nest now, and Luca will be moving up next year. I don't really have any questions at this point. I just wanted to say welcome, and we're excited to have you, and I'm excited to meet you in person at the end of the month. So
Thank you.
And hi, I'm Ona. I'm actually a new parent at DMS, and I have 10-year-olds twins who are in upper L, and my daughter is very excited about another girl coming to the school. So
Hi, I'm Rian. I will have 2 kids at DMS. We've been homeschooling this past year, but our older son Dylan will be a 1st grader coming into your class, and then our younger son will be headed into the Loons.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
where are you moving from? Are you local or are you moving?
No, so I live in Massachusetts right now. I'm in Attleboro, which is kind of closer to Providence than Boston, so
Yeah.
the other side there. But my parents have been looking for a house in Maine for years. They were just kind of waiting and secretly hoping that we would join them. So now that we are, it feels like we've hit the gas and everybody's trying to move very quickly. Which I don't know if you know, but there is no nothing available in Maine right
Oh.
now. So I may be
no.
thanks for the first year that we're up there, but I mean, we'll eventually find some place to live, I'm sure.
I definitely know. I'm renting right now, and I've been trying to buy a house, and I was just like, oh, worst possible timing ever.
We might be building, honestly. I feel like land is somewhat more available right now. But we
Like,
love
posting for a halfway built house in Damascata. That looks really nice. So.
I'm just gonna sit and smile because I'm excited. But trying to think what else I can tell you guys. I'm a reader. I don't know, like I love to read. I have picture books for every occasion, every holiday, everything. Like I know most of the days of the year, like National Pig Day, National all the things, and I love to read to the kids. I love reading aloud. I'm caught reading all the time, and I think that's one of the things that I love most about being a teacher, a Montessori teacher, is matching kids to books and helping kids figure out who they are as readers and helping them become readers. Like really, I don't want them to just be able to read. I want them to love it. So I'm very excited about that. I'm already building a library for Lower L. I'm sure Shawnee has one, but I'm like trading out my Upper L books for Lower L books.
This is Patty. She's my old English sheepdog, and she sometimes helps me teach Latin. And she sometimes visits the office. And so if you have a dog or any pets, they're welcome to come to school too.
I have a dog. He is not the kind of dog that would enjoy being at school, unfortunately. But I love the idea of having a classroom dog. So maybe when his lifetime has ended, but hopefully not too soon. Lucy's my oldest. She's going to be the 6th grader. She loves animals, so she'll be very excited to hear there's a dog on campus.
My kids are lobbying hard for a classroom pet in Upper L.
Yeah, we don't have one. COVID hit before I could make a decision about bringing one in for the Upper L at the school I'm at now. So I guess it'll be up to the next teacher, but I don't know. I'm good with mammals, I think. Although I had tortoises in training that I was responsible for taking care of, and I did have a lot of fun with them. They were Fred and Ginger, and they were very cute.
For a while in the Lower L, we don't have it. We don't have them now, but we had a pet cockroach for a while. So yeah, I mean, you could have inherited a pet cockroach. There are animals in there right now. And we often have animals visit from the playground that the kids find in our woods, and then we return them after they stay with us for a while. Yeah, the kids love animals, love them. Yeah.
I should say the classroom I'm in has a fish and birds. They're not directly my responsibility, but they are a lot of fun. And they learn a lot. And they're really useful for a lot of the lessons we do in biology. So.
When I was a new teacher, I had desired to have one of each vertebrate in the classroom. That was a goal of mine. I no longer think that I could manage that. I think that that's too many animals for me. Like there comes a point when it's too many for me. Yeah. So it doesn't look like there's any more questions right now. So I think it's okay to wrap up early, knowing that we will be seeing Allison again soon in person over April vacation. And we'll send out more reminders about that as it gets closer to it. But I really appreciate that you guys came out, and, you know, again, I guess a hello and a thank you to people watching this after the fact. Are there any other final thoughts, questions, comments, anything before we wrap up? No? Okay. All right. And again, you can email them to me also, and I could pass them along to Ms. Wells. Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming
Thank
out.
you.
And yeah, thank you. And we will see you guys all soon. And Allison, we will see you soon also.
Very excited. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you. Looking forward to meeting you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.